Hi, I'm Kai with Lure of the North, and this is the start of making your uppers. This is going to be the video on how to make buckskin wraparound style uppers. So we're going to get started right away. We've got both lowers completed, and you should put all of your insulation on and slip in your moccasin so that it's going to look like this. And what we're looking for is going along the top of your foot if it's really being tensioned. So your foot should be inside your boot liner, and you should feel, does it feel tight right here? And if it's feeling really tight, then what you can do is actually cut the stitching and open it up a little bit. I would say go no more than ½ an inch, but you go wherever you need to so that it doesn't feel really tight, because we're about to size the upper. So we want to make sure that it feels nice, and if there's too much tension there, then the stitching is going to come out faster. So try it on, feel, does it feel nice and comfortable, not too tight? Then what we're going to do is actually trim the tongue off, just on a slight angle, veering towards the peak, so that it's a little bit of a curve here. And that's just going to get rid of this flap here that is otherwise unnecessary, and it's going to make sewing our uppers to our lowers quite a bit easier. It used to be that we did a close whip stitch going along the tongue here and leaving this extra bit, but over the years we've decided that it's actually unnecessary and we're going to trim it off. So that's going to make life a little bit easier. So we've got this extra tongue bit here, and I'm going to just trim it off so that it is a little bit easier to deal with. Okay, and I've gone up a little bit here. I didn't go straight across because we want to have that little bit of a natural curve for your top of your foot to lift up. I'm going to do that on the second one. Okay, again, a little bit of a ridge here. So I'm going to measure around the moccasin perimeter now, the top of the moccasin. I'm going to measure across the vamp section twice. And that's what's going to give you that wraparound style. It's going to give you that generous overlap, so that when you open your moccasin and close it again, you're going to have a generous overlap so that snow is not going to get inside. So I'm starting at the one side of the vamp, and I'm just going around and just gradually moving my finger and the tape around. Get to that other side of the vamp, pinch it, and then you can rotate. And you're not stretching the hide or the tape, you're just letting it go. I've gone back around, so I've done one full rotation, and now remember I'm going back around or across the vamp one more time for that overlap. So I've got 23 inches and 3/4. I'm going to write that down. Sometimes I find it's helpful to actually write it inside the moccasin. And give it a number. Call it 1. Easy. Now I'm going to measure the second one. Same thing, make sure that you do 2 passes of the vamp. And this one I have 23 1/4. So it's pretty normal to have two different measurements, and with the wraparound style it's less important to have an exact number, unlike the canvas. So what I'm going to do is take the lower number of the two, so 23 1/4. I'm going to use that for both of my uppers, and that just means that my second upper is going to have ½ inch less overlap, but because you've got at least 4 inches of overlap, that's plenty still. In fact, it's better to have a little bit less than too much, because if you start going around beyond the vamp, then you end up getting kind of more of a tube, and it becomes more difficult to get your moccasin on and off. So we're going with the 23 1/4 for both uppers. So your next step is to figure out what your height is going to be for your moccasin. So you're going to put your moccasin on and your boot liner, and take your soft tape, measure from the top of the moccasin, and generally speaking people go to the base of their kneecap or the top of their calf where it starts to get smaller again. So for me, I've got about 13 inches, and then you're going to add 2 inches for the roll down.